You are now listening to the Super Coach Experience. The Super Coach Experience. The Super Coach Experience.
And welcome back to the Super Coach Experience podcast. I'm your host, Brandon Savage, the coach of the Savage Turbos. It is a very special week this week. We have a very special guest on, but first, I will introduce to you the coach of Trip Jacket Mafia, Mikey. How are you, Mikey?
Yeah, good, mate. It's good to be on, and it's good to see you. You've got the hang of this nice new video concept, so hopefully it's a lot more clean this week. Ready to talk Super Coach as always, mate.
Yeah, let's hope so. And if there's any sound issues, just let us know. And the coach of Ramen Noodles, Jake. How are you, Jake?
Oh, I'm good. The Colonel wasn't a flog to me this week. I won all but one of my league matches and climbed up a few ranks. I beat Mikey by 1 point in one of these, which was absolutely fantastic.
$50 one too, so
Yes.
I was coming first in that, and now I'm sitting second.
Yeah,
so
see, Mikey doesn't need the win, so he's happy to donate a win to me.
definitely wanted the minor premiership win there, but it's all right.
Yeah, very close week in head-to-head this week in a lot of matchups. Mikey, it was very close with us up until the last day, Sunday.
Tigers game. Oh, yeah, we were looking good into that Tigers game, but yeah, Dewey magic from you, man. Props out to you. It was a huge move, huge play. You caught it. When I looked at the play, I didn't really read into it, but it was a genius move, man. That run coming up. I know he's been purchased by like 2,000 players. I'm sure we'll talk about him, but the fact is he'll still stay under 10%, man. He's a super pod, and yeah, it was a crazy move. I never thought he was going to go that big, and personally, I didn't like the Dewey move because I thought Broncos were going to give it to him. So, yeah, man, monster score from you this week. And, I went down in 3 matches. I was first in 3 head-to-head, so that hurt a little.
Yeah,
I got done up by the other boys in the podcast this week.
Yeah, I was very worried as well. I feel like when Nico Hines scored 166, I was absolutely devastated because he was my vice captain, obviously, and I couldn't loop him. So I was very devastated. And Adam Dewey, you don't expect 5-6 try assists and 150. I didn't think he had a ceiling like that. I know he scored 140 before, but I thought that was about his ceiling. So the fact that he went so big when I captained him, just amazing. And I thought the Broncos would have put up a fight as well. But you guys don't care about us. You guys want to hear from the man, the moment, the legend, the best super coacher in Supercoach at the moment. Tim, how are you, Tim?
Hey, man. How you going? Take it easy on the compliments, man. I'll get a bigger head than Villi over here, I think.
So, Timmy, 17-25. How do you feel?
Yeah, really good, man. Equally as nervous, though. It's a long way to go. Obviously, it's nice to be in front now, but for me, it really matters just, being in front in the end. So I'm treating this like a marathon. Didn't really intend to be in front of the race at the moment. So just hoping that I've got the stamina to get there to the end.
Very good. How are you feeling about the run ahead?
Real nervous. I do have a belief as well that I can get it done. I didn't think I could earlier in the year. I rode myself off a few times, but, it sort of shifted at one point and I thought, oh, hold on, we've got a shot here. So, I guess now that I'm in this position now, it's still about, just not making mistakes, I guess, and having a lot of luck still, say, in my corner.
So since you're ranked first right now, all eyes are on you. I'm sure 2nd and 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, all the way to probably 500th are going to be listening to this, just keeping an eye on your next move. So we're going to try and avoid talking trade specific in your team, but we're going to definitely get your opinion on everything that we're going to be doing. But I guess you're pretty much open book. You've been an open book all season, so we'll make sure that you're involved. Mikey, how was your week, and what are you planning on doing this week?
Look, man, I had a lot of goods and bads in my week last week. 1,400, yet again, was still a good enough score. I think it was 14, 12 or 11 or whatever it was. It was good enough yet again. I haven't seen red arrows in like 8 weeks, so I guess you got to take the positives. I'm just small jumping ahead, and as I said, head-to-head wasn't too well. I only had 3. But, yeah, overall I'm sitting at 4,110 now. So I went up 700 spots, and I'm moving up in the right direction. It's just I say good and bad week because I made some awful moves. I played Tohu Harris last minute. I got scared with Angus Crichton, and with Harris coming through in a stacked team, I decided to play Tohu Harris over Angus Crichton. That cost me about 65 points and also cost me a lot of my head-to-heads. I was talking to, shout out to Kano, Dr. Kano. Me and him were having a match up, and he still was, telling me, he's like, look, man, I'm going to captain Hines. He made me think I was so close to straight captaining Hines. I wish I did that, because if I did that instead of copying an AE from Brayley, I would have copped 80 from Phil, 70, whatever Fanua Blake got. So made some good and bad moves, but with Cody Walker getting 78, looping Hines was definitely the right move. So, yeah, man, like that's good on that front. My plans moving forward, I'm making 2 trades this week. They're pretty big trades. I'm not settled on them. I think I'm going to fall too far behind without David Fafita. I've only got 3 trades left. I'm not going to be able to bring in Cleary, Pappenhausen, Fafita. I'm going to go Fafita this week. Harris to Fafita is perfect. I need money to make that trade. So I don't think you guys will agree with my second move, but my second fullback is locked in. It's not Ponga. It's also not going to be Tedesco or Pappenhausen at this stage. I'm buying Adam Dewey. Probably a week too late, but I've gone Alex Johnson down to Dewey. Johnson's only out for 2 weeks, but when he comes back, he's going to play Eels, Panthers, Roosters all in that 4 weeks. So I've made 300K with Johnson. I'm going to take that money run and get 2 players in that I think will help me later for the head-to-head finals. I think with the Tigers matchups, I think Adam Dewey is going to be a critical buy around that period. And with all Pappenhausen and people coming back, you're not going to be able to fit them all into fullback 5'8". So that's my plan for now. I can always sell a 5'8" to then bring in Pappenhausen with my final trade. But, to get Fafita this week, I'd rather take another gun player than grabbing enough. And I do think the 150 from Dewey wasn't a fluke. I think he does have a ceiling about around that. And tough matchup against Manly this week. I still think all the tries that Tigers come up with will be on the back of Dewey. But, yeah, that run home, I think Dewey could be a guy that could clutch me some head-to-head final wins. What's your thoughts on that, boys? Firstly, I'll probably go to you, Timmy. You picked up Dewey last week. Would you think he's a bad purchase now?
I don't think he's a bad purchase now. He's definitely a good purchase. He's playing, obviously, Manly this week, so I think you might be a little bit let down with the score that he gets this week compared to last week, but going forward, I think it's a good move for your team, yeah.
I think you need to buy him now, too, if you want him personally, because he's got a minus 24 breakout, 54, and 580, as I said, doing that trade from Johnson down to him gives me 220K, and I can go Tohu Harris to Fafita. So Titans are playing the Dragons this week. Just with Fafita ceiling in second row and how high his ownership, I'm sick of anti-potting him. It made me feel sick. He crossed for a try in that final minute, and I was going, God, no. But luckily it was disallowed, so I just think I need to get on that bandwagon fast. And it definitely means I can't get Nathan Cleary in, but Pappenhausen, I could go someone like Garrick to him next week. So, look, I'm not convinced on Pappenhausen, but I'm sure we'll cover him in the hot topic. So, back to you, Sabs.
I'm very surprised of your backflip on Fafita. You're pretty much saying, I'm going to death ride him all year. It's been a week.
I never really said that. I just said kind of for the week. I wasn't sure when I was going to get him, but it's just last week wasn't the right week to get him. Look, I'm happy with the Haas purchase. But, he was always on my horizon, and this week's a week to get him.
You would have been loving watching that last play then when it was denied?
Oh, I was cheering. I was depressed before when he got it, and then once he got through, I was cheering, but still wasn't enough.
I've got a question for you, Mikey.
Go for it, mate.
Adam Dewey at fullback. Are you completely convinced? Because I've got him in my fullback area at the moment, and Schuster and Walker in my halves. I feel like a Tedesco / Pappenhausen / Ponga is more useful in that fullback spot. What do you think of Dewey? I know Dewey's scored heaps well in that 5'8" position, but does he really have the consistent 150 plus ceiling?
I don't think it's going to be consistent, but I think the scores that he's been getting at 5'8", he controls that whole Tigers attack. And as we said, look at that draw coming up and have a look at his scores when he versus a weaker opposition. If I think they can score points and notch up over 30 points each in those games, yes, I think he's going to have the highest score from the Tigers. I understand what you're saying. I couldn't sell a 5'8" to him. I didn't have enough money to go Luai to him. Fullback was the only slot. I was kind of reserving that for Kalen Ponga, but with the head knocks, I'm too scared of Ponga's injuries. Tedesco hasn't shown enough form. That last spot I really do like for Pappenhausen, but same thing. He's coming back from a big concussion. I don't know how he's going to be eased in, and all it's going to take is one more head knock. So I don't mind Adam Dewey at that fullback position. I think he can keep up with the rest of those fullbacks. And the key thing, too, is he kicks goals. If I think Tigers are going to score some points against these weaker oppositions to the end of the year, then, yeah, I definitely think he can keep that ceiling. And I don't think that 150 was a fluke. I think it can happen again. He was in absolutely everything. And to be honest with you, I didn't really rate Dewey as a player till this year, and he's really stepped up. Does he keep that 5'8" spot for the rest of the year? After a performance like that last week, he won him the game. He needs to. But, yeah, I'm happy to jump on train with you guys. It's not a chasing last week's points. If I could go him next week, I would. To get Fafita, it's a perfect trade, I think. You know, going Johnson to him, it's keeping my team strong because, yeah, I've got to, we're coming into head-to-head finals, so I think everyone really needs to focus these next 3 weeks to get yourself in there in the top 4 if you can.
Sweet. Before we move on to Jake's trades, we have a question here from Henry and Tim. It's just up on the screen there. Timmy, are you still keen on the coaching swap? My boys need some inspiration.
Oh man, the boys and I have really connected. Like at the time when I made that offer, it was more about just like you were doing so well that I wanted you to have the opportunity to develop your credentials more in taking a weaker team. But yeah, since then, the boys and I really got together, and it's a really strong connection I've got with all of them. I'm really to talk to them about their families and, just the things that's going on in their lives and all those little things. So, for me to just walk away from them now, mate, it'd be very emotionally tough on us all.
Yes, I agree. I feel like
he's like a Wayne Bennett / Craig Bellamy. Or even from the Tigers doco about Madge Maguire, he was so passionate about their families. And Timmy, mate, that's why they're playing for you. That is why they're playing for you. That's it, mate.
And at the time, it seemed like a really unfair trade, and Henry's already asking for a swap. It's kind of like the Wayne Bennett, Anthony Seibold situation. Jake,
yes,
how'd you go, and what are your plans for this week? You didn't play Jack Bird?
No, and I think that was my only poorest. Same as Mike. I ended up paying Tohu Harris ahead of Crichton. Exact same thing. Crichton named on the bench. I thought, he's going to be quiet. Came on, score a try. Unfortunate. Yes, I've got Jack Bird's a play this week. He's in my second row. I'm probably making the one trade. Of who I trade out, it depends. Nico Hines will be my VC. So if I end up looping him, I'll have to keep Tohu, get rid of Tane Milne I think I'm going to get Greg Marzu. Not confirmed on that, but will give me a lot of cash for next week. And it'll also allow me to either loop or not have to loop. I know Tane Milne, it's unfortunate. He was going right for South, but all of a sudden he's on the bench. I don't know what Wayne's doing, but Mansour and Jackson Paulo are there. So just the one trade, leaving me 2 for the run home. With the money that I gained from the trade, it allows me to potentially keep Nico Hines to the end. We don't know where he's going to fill in, whether it's centre or off the bench. But I mean, towards the end, Storm going to probably be resting players, and he's probably going to be a play towards the end. Not that I'm going to be in any grand finals though.
I feel like he goes to centre, especially with the news that George Jennings is out. But I guess it's a wait and see. You don't sell Hines until it's definitely confirmed that he's out of the side or in the interchange bench. How many trades do we have left as well, Jake and Mike? Tim, somewhere between 1 and 10. That's your answer? Yep. Jake?
I got one after this week. I've used 2, so I'll be left with the same as you, mate.
So do we think that that's enough?
No.
I would love more.
I think right now, after those trades I make, if I had 3 left, it'd be a better position. But yeah, it's not going to be enough. But at least I've stacked my team. I've got lots of depth, so that's what I'm relying on. And Sabs, what about you, mate? The big question: are you using that final trade?
So I guess everyone already knows, like you guys already know, but the podcast listeners don't know. I used my second trade last week on going Connor Watson to Ben Hunt. And do I regret it? Yes, because I would have scored exactly the same last week had I not made the trade. I have a hooker now, which is good, I guess. But yeah, I really could have saved that trade. And now I'm short a 5'8" and a genuine fullback. I guess Dewey at fullback is okay. But yeah, it's still quite upsetting.
Yeah, I mean, we all said don't do it, but you went and did it anyway.
He's done it all year. At the end of the day, he had a super round and Sabs is back. He's back. So at the end of the day, you've done some crazy moves. I wouldn't, but in the end of the day, you are sitting in a nice spot. So, yeah, kudos, man.
Well, to be fair, I'm ranked 1400th now, and I have the same amount of trades as you, Mikey. So there we go.
But I am standing 2 plays this week, and if we look at each other's sides, I think I have a lot more depth than yours.
Yeah, my depth is terrible.
Yeah, but he's got Ben Hunt.
Yeah, I got Ben Hunt.
So we'll see if that comes into play. If that is, it's a strategy I'm trying out this year. We don't know if that's going to come in handy. If there's lots of injuries, I think it will play into my favour. But we'll see. I think it's a handy strategy to try out this year because it feels like such a while ago since we've had a season with the buys back and the trades back. We forgot what it was like last year. So, yeah, hopefully we all take out and learn to save more trades next year. That's Timmy excluded because he's done it better than us.
All right. Let's move on. Let's move on to the hot topics. All right, the hot topics this week. Number 1 is Ryan Papenhuyzen on the list. Ryan Papenhuyzen, he's been named at number 17, 195 break even, 815K or so. What are our plans for Ryan Papenhuyzen, and is he the fullback we need to get in? Jake, I'll start with you.
I think it's just a wait. It's a wait and see this week. I think we get I wish he wasn't versing the Cowboys, who, if he comes on early, he can put on a massive score. But it's a wait and see. I think the fact that all the fullbacks are, I guess, you can kind of bring in next week. Ponga will kind of be floored out, potentially Tedesco as well. So I think definitely a wait and see. There's every chance that he comes in and starts. I mean, Hines could go to 6, Cooper John's out, and Papenhuyzen straight to fullback. But Bellamy said that they want to kind of ease him in, so I think he'll definitely come off the bench. But as for minutes, I don't know. And there's every chance. Like, last year he was coming off the bench early on, and he ended up putting 140 points in 20 minutes. So, I mean, I don't think I'm going to bring him in. I think because just having the head knocks, he's one head knock away from not coming back for the rest of the season. So I think I'm going to be passing on him for my fullback next week, unless he comes out and pulls on a stormer and is like, oh no, who knows? But yeah, not for me. But everyone else, wait. I think it's a watch and see.
Mikey, obviously you're going Adam Dewey. What are your thoughts on Papenhuyzen and that one trade? If you go 2 weeks without injuries, are you going to try and rush him in?
With the depth in my side, I don't really need to worry about injuries. I can hold about 2 or 3 injuries. That trade isn't for injuries. It's to make a pod play. The only negative is I don't have much money in the reserve. So if I don't do those trades this week, it'll be solely because of Pappenhausen, because instead I could keep anti-potting David Fafita and I could go, Johnston to Pappenhausen. I could move a few pieces to do it there. But I think I will lock in Dewey, and with locking in Dewey, I will stay away from Pappenhausen. I think it's a bit more risk assured. I think the Pappenhausen route's a bit more risky. I could just save 2 trades and wait till next week, but then again, I could fall behind not getting in for Feeder, and Dewey's a this week move. So I definitely think Pappenhausen could be a big play. We know Bellamy said he's probably going to ease him in, but what if he doesn't and a shot call happens and he gets named to start? If you save your trade to that point and haven't used your trade to the round, if he gets named in a starting position, take him. Yeah, he could come off early, but, it could be a big play. I think Pappenhausen, if you do or don't get him, will be your crucial turning point for the season. And I definitely see that although I think Dewey can help me in the back end, I think Pappenhausen could also let me down. It's just, I think it's safer to wait a week because hopefully even if he comes on and kills it and gets around 80 to 100, he's still going to lose a shit ton of money for you to be able to make a decent, 700. Could be around 730K. So, I'm with Jake, man. Wait and see with that one. But if you got some balls, I could see you taking a risk on Pappenhausen. But wait and see him. Let him get cleared from the captain's run and, see how he goes. See how your week's looking.
Timmy, with Pappenhausen, a lot of the players up in the top echelon of the rankings will be looking at Pappenhausen to try and get an edge up on the competition. What are your thoughts on that if they try and do that to try and pip you?
Well, the thing is, with Pappenhausen, I agree with both of those guys. With Jake saying, it's probably a good one to wait and see. I think this week will give us a lot of answers on how, Melbourne might shape up for the rest of the year and how everyone's role might sort of take shape. But, I definitely think there's an opportunity to sort of jump on board this week, have him as a pod, have him go well. But I just think there's definitely more reasons to wait a week than to jump early. But, I guess each to their own.
Very good. None of us looking at Tedesco?
No, the Roosters kind of have a toughish draw to sort of end, and I think Ponga's got a better draw. Dewey's got a good draw as well. Although you prefer to have Dewey at 5'8", I think Addo sort of mentioned in the comments as well that you kind of want him there because you want a second gun fullback because fullbacks aren't really the jewel like the top ones. So I think, Tedesco it very well could be a pod towards the end because I don't think a lot of people towards the top half sort of have him. I think a lot of teams are kind of just I'll just keep him whatever that down where I am. Sort of still got him, but I don't think so. I think they got a tough run. The Roosters aren't playing too well as well. They haven't been. And Sam Walker's kind of taken a lot of sting off Teddy as well. Mikey, Teddy, no.
Look, I like how open this fullback thing is to end the season. I'm sick of the same thing. Teddy and Turbo. This year, it's a lot more open. I think everyone's got to kind of have Turbo. And then with that last one, you can be a bit cute. Like, the thing is, if Ponga was kicking goals, I'd have Ponga ahead of most of the others. It'd be very equal with him and Pappenhausen. I get what Ado's saying, and a lot of other people would say with the 5'8", Dewey's available in 5'8", why not have him there? But with me having him in the fullback, honestly, I'm calling it now, and it will be my bold predictions. Luai will have a resurgence. I know he's coming back from injury, but I personally, I've held on to Luai, and I think he could be a real knight in shining armor for my side. And with having him, Cody Walker, I then get those two combined with my Turbo Dewey. So I know fullbacks has been a strategy every year, but look, I'm going to play a bit crazy at the end of the year. I don't have the trades to go crazy, but I'm going to use my depth and keep changing it around. So I'm def riding Luai. But with Tedesco, look, he's, as you said, his draws a bit. It's a roller coaster. He has a good matchup, 2 crap matchups. Good matchup, but look, it's Tedesco. I think if you're someone that already has him, I wouldn't be looking at selling Tedesco to one of those other guys if you're low on trades. A lot of people have been asking me that question. I think it's too sideways if you're low on trades. But if you're someone that has a bit of trades set up, then I might upgrade Tedesco to a Pappenhausen or Ponga. But I think if you've got him, I think hold tight unless you really like, Pappenhausen's going to kill it. Then, trust your gut.
Trust your gut. That's it.
And one fullback that kind of we haven't mentioned all year has been Gutherson, and with Moses out, I don't know how long, it might be 2 to 4 weeks. He'll be goal kicking. I know Parra kind of same as what Tedesco sort of had an up and down draw, but a lot of people are selling Gutherson this week. I think I remember seeing in the
3 to 5 weeks in the interview by the looks of it.
So he will goal kick. I know it takes a bit of sting out of their attack, and I'm pretty sure they have 2 of the top 4. So that's kind of what.
Raiders, Roosters, Bunnies are the next 3. So, and then Manly, and they got Storm and Penrith to end the year. So,
it's horrible.
The Eels have probably one of the hardest runs home.
I mean, this week he's fair to play. I mean, Raiders are leaking points. So, but after that, I think.
But all kicking rises his base, and he'll be more heavily involved than usual. So. That's a tough one with Gutho. It's a good point, Jake.
It's funny because he's the top scoring fullback, but he's played the most games. All the other ones are averaging so much better than him. And based on draws, I think that's the stinger. We got to go with the draws. Next hot topic. Obviously, you said Jerome Luai is back. Nathan Cleary is due to come back probably any time. So, lads, have we got the cash to get him back, or are we going to make it? I feel like none of us really had the trades to do it. Timmy, I'm not going to ask you, but what's your thoughts on Cleary and how he's going to come back?
It's Nathan Cleary, isn't it? So, I mean, he's been killing it all the time. So, but then again, he's coming back from an injury. He's expensive. It may cost you, more than the 2 trades to get him. Some people may need to downgrade 1 this week and then use another 2 next week or something like that. So, it's a tough one. But, it's one of those ones where you've really got to make a pretty big decision on, I think. I think it's probably one of the bigger decisions. There are other people in halfback now that are doing quite well, though, so...
There are some pretty good halfback options. Jerome Hughes absolutely killed it on the weekend.
Didn't even play 80.
Didn't even play 80. That bloody Melbourne side is very good. What were you going to say, Jake?
Oh, no, I was just saying, you had Jerome Hughes in there. So I guess apart from that, a lot of people would have probably Sean Johnson maybe as their backup half. And to go Sean Johnson to clear is probably going to cost you 500, 600K. So you're going to have to drop enough a gun pretty much to sort of get that cash. Unless you've got the cash stored up already from, say, Johnston, you might have some cash.
I guess that leads into Addo's question just earlier up on the screen. Do you play SJ this week? So obviously, a lot of halves will have SJ, Walker, Jerome Hughes. I feel like if you have Jerome Hughes, you probably just play him. But who's he playing this week?
So just quickly, let me know. He's first in the Dogs, and I want to highlight something. I'm 90% sure you'd know, Jake. The Sharks lost the Bulldogs last time, didn't they?
Yes, we did.
They did. I'm personally not playing him this week. I'm playing Luai over him. I think SJ isn't a bad play, but just because they're versing the Bulldogs, I lost a huge multi on the weekend to the Bulldogs because they couldn't get smashed that week. I was very upset, and I just think you can't. You don't know what Bulldogs are going to turn up, and I still think, to be honest with you, I'm tipping the Bulldogs this week in my tipping comp, which I'm coming second in. That's going to be my upset. Sorry, Jake, but I don't think you can sleep on the Bulldogs, and I don't think there'll be too much points on offer. I do think, if you've got a stacked side, I think you can sit Johnson out on this one. Last week, Sharks were scoring points, and he managed to dish that up. Trindle took charge, man. The fact that Trindle's kicking goals too, honestly, I really considered I would have sold Johnson to Dewey this week if I could, but don't have the jewels. I really would. If with the other options, if I didn't have Jerome Hughes or I had a money saving to get to Cleary, I would be looking at getting rid of Johnson. But I'm going to sit in there and not play him this week. But look, I could see why you think he'd be a play and why people will play him this week. But for me, I'm just going to take a risk and sit him out.
I thought he actually... Sorry.
Oh, sorry, yeah. You go, Savs.
I thought he actually had a bad record against the Bulldogs, but his last 3 games, 75, 76, 88. Obviously, they're probably in high-scoring games where he had the goal kicking, so...
And you're leaving out his score of this year. He scored like 30 against them this year.
Oh, did he score 30 against them this year?
Yeah, I think it was an injury-affected game, but in that game this year was probably better to go off. He scored 27
in 60 minutes. Yeah, that's not very good.
His high score against the Bulldogs is only 88 as well.
Yeah, so maybe
in 11 games.
Maybe he is a leader.
I mean, that's not good. But just like on the Sharks in general. And the way he was playing, it's like the week before as well, he just was not taking the line. He preferred to just be, I guess, kind of an organizer, just kick it sort of thing, like he turn people under. He's not hitting the line or attacking. So without that goal kicking as well, I'm not playing him. It depends on if you've got, I guess, not so good depth and your R's aren't that good and you need someone with, I guess, some attacking upside, then go Sean Johnson. But the Bulldogs were pretty good last week. They were up at halftime before Lachlan Lewis decided to do one of the dumbest things I've ever seen.
That was pretty funny. I liked that.
That was just bizarre.
I liked it.
It was comedy, that's for sure.
He's just trying to get his stats up.
Surely he counted super coach for one point. But yeah, the Sharks have been pretty poor. Were poor, against the Raiders and the Dogs. I mean, do I think that the Dogs will win? They already beat us, but I reckon we'll beat them this week. I'm hoping. So Mikey's upset of the week can turn to shit.
I'm actually very happy that the Bulldogs put up a fight against the Rabbitohs because I feel like that played a massive part in Tim being number 1 overall. I can't believe it. It's such a good achievement. Daniel Crawford here says, "Grats, Timmy, for the number 1 spot." Tim, before we move on to the next subject, how does it feel again? And also, have you had heaps of people hit you up? You've been on a few podcasts already. What's your appearance fee?
No appearance fee this year, maybe next year. Look, I don't know who's more popular at the moment, whether it's me or the bloke who's predicting the COVID stats, but he's proved to be a fake. So it's a short-lived little moment, but as I said before, guys, it's a very nice feeling, but it's equally matched with nerves because I do want to get this done by the end of the year. And I'm sure there's a lot of other people out there with a lot of credentials in a pretty close spot that think they've got the ability to get it done too. So I don't think it's going to be anywhere near as easy as what it might seem from the outside.
Yep. Okay, we're going to get a message from the sponsor and then we'll be back with the next hot topic. Top Sport have jumped on board as the Supercoach Experience sponsor. Australian owned and run, Top Sport is the place to go for all your betting needs. They have specialty markets that all the other bookies don't have, plus an easy-to-use app to navigate. They've already helped us so much and we want to keep helping them and we want to help them help you. So if you love a punt, you'll love Top Sport. Head over to topsport.com.au, use the code SCEXPERIENCE when signing up. That lets them know you're coming from our show and they'll take extra good care of you. Over 18, gamble responsibly. Use the app Top Sport for all your betting needs. So there we go, Top Sport. Very good betting company there. Did you get up on the weekend, Timmy, even though you had a great Supercoach weekend?
Nah, the Bunnies game killed me, actually. So when you were sort of saying... it was good. You're really happy that the Dogs did well. It killed me. I was doing really well in my bets all weekend, and then it just all went really bad. I was saying to Barnesy on his show that I jumped on the line even at halftime just to chase a bit of losses there, and that was only at $1.40 for minus 10.5, and they only beat them by 8. So that was pretty painful.
It's pretty
bad.
I was
heartbroken for me, mate. They killed me. I needed one more try for 1,200 and. Yeah, I was devastated. I got my try scorers in the first 10 minutes and, 9 out of 10 legs. I was feeling. I
don't know if it's bad as seeing a bloke with a multi that had
Sebastian Chris. Yep, I saw that one.
Yeah, Sebastian Chris. Yeah. And he just passed it off to Savage for a free try. I feel like that should get paid by the company. That's like he's over. Got to give it to him.
Yeah, I agree.
Show some compassion.
Johnny Renara here, bunnies with the line. Fuck, 3.8k multi gone. Jesus.
Oh, me and Timmy feel your pain this week, mate. Let's get it back next week. Let's get it back.
Bunnies will fire this week too, so I think they'll cover whatever line it is this week too.
All right, moving on to the next hot topic, the hooker area. So most of us have Jaden Brayley and Connor Watson. Are we targeting anyone? I guess if we had one or two more trades, Mikey, would we be considering going a Reed Marnie, a Ben Hunt, or even Harry Grant or Brandon Smith?
Yeah, so I think Brendan Smith does cost a bit of premium with all the purchases coming out. But yeah, if I had the trades, a guy that I'd probably target this week or next week would be Reed Marnie. It's probably this week. Yeah, he's almost at 5,000. He's, I think, the number one brought in player this week at about 4,700. And I think it's great. The Parramatta, yeah, they've got a tough run coming home, but I think he's, really put himself up as a top super coach option this year. And to be honest with you, Harry Grant, I'm not too keen on that. He keeps coming back, hurting himself again with that hamstring. So I want someone that's not going to get injured. I bought Damien Cook about 3 weeks ago, and he's been very, very average for me. But with no trades, I'm just going to have to lock in him and Brayley, and I'm just going to keep playing Cook each week because at least he's getting me within the 40s. It just sucks that Cook with a floor of about 70 seems to be gone. So, yeah, I think the top purchase is Reed Marnie for 500k this week. I think, he's someone good to lock in. I don't mind your pod move in Ben Hunt, but I'm very up and down on the Dragons are up and down, and I really think they're going to end the season horribly. So, yeah, I think Reed Marnie's a top purchase. Brendan Smith probably is, but I think for the price and trade-wise, I think Reed Marnie would be a better pickup, even with the tough run home.
I really like Reed Marnie. I feel like he has been someone I've eyed off all season. The injury really did scare me, so hence why I went Ben Hunt. I can't believe I actually did Ben Hunt because hey, don't.
I can't.
I could not believe it, man. I was going, oh my God, Sabs, please. Use this second last trade on Ben Hunt.
I honestly can't believe I did it. It was a spur of the moment decision. He's in good form. He scored in Origin twice, and I don't know, just every single point that you guys brought across to me was a valid point. There was no reason to get him. The St. George Illawarra Dragons have not performed, and they're going through absolute carnage at the moment. And yeah, it's not good. It is not good. Jake, is Ryan Madison back?
I guess so. I mean, he was at his offloading best. Played big minutes. He played big minutes the round before. So I mean, I guess the concern is he's kind of going to potentially have the up and down games where his minutes are kind of down. But I think with Parramatta's tough draw, they're going to probably rely on him more, and he's going to be playing bigger minutes rather than bringing on, say, Sean Lane, Bryce Cartwright to sort of play on the edge. I think Bryce Cartwright's out of the team, and they have a utility on the bench now, which they haven't really had. So I think Ryan Madison, I mean, if you got him, keep him for sure. If you don't, I wouldn't be prioritising him, say, than a Dave Fafita, or maybe even going more of a pod route. I know Tyson Frizzell's in there. He's potentially another one. Cam Murray definitely. So I'd be probably prioritising. Definitely Cam Murray and Dave Fafita. Angus
Cam Murray plus 11k more.
Yeah. Then Ryan Madison. Then bringing Ryan Madison back in, because I mean everyone's probably had him at some point. So yeah. He's back.
With Ryan Madison, obviously, I don't think he is a buy, but he's definitely a watch. And if you've got trades to come up later in the season, he might be someone who starts performing so well that you need him. But I want to go over to you, Timmy. There's been a player that people have held. He was suspended for a few weeks, and there is news that James Fisher-Harris is leaving the bubble for a few weeks to... I see Mikey's showing his Panthers jersey. James Fisher-Harris is moving the bubble to go assist. See his daughter being born or something. So he'll be out for 3. Yeah, he'll be out for 3 weeks. Timmy, Tavita Pangai Jr. There's news that he's coming in. If you held, are you excited for this?
Maybe not. I don't know how much he's going to be used in the side. I don't think he's going to take anyone's position.
I think he will.
You think he'll take Capewell's?
No, but the position's obviously on the bench. I think he'll take Sorensen's spot on the bench. I don't.
Like on the bench. I mean, I don't think he's going to be a starter. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think you'd want to. If you kept him, you'd definitely be holding him because you've kept him because you want him to come back, and him coming back to anywhere other than the Broncos is probably a good thing. I just don't know that the Panthers is the best club for him in Supercoach if he can't get the minutes, but we'll soon see. He might be something that we used up our sleeve to, really punch forward. Because I agree. I think we may need him. Like maybe even just he may be used more as a prop. I
think that's where he's going to play as well. Do you think when James Fisher-Harris is back, the front row is going to be Fisher-Harris and TPJ instead of Leota?
No, I think the fact of signing TPJ, if it which it looks like it's going to happen, will be purely to add depth to that side because Penrith are a bit light on front row forwards with experience. So if Fisher Harris and Leota go down, there's not going to be really anyone to plug in there. So I think more so he'll come on and he'll stay on the bench. The fact is we're buying him for the rest of the season. He's just to add to the chances of us taking home the premiership. And I think he'll be really great as impact off the bench. And TPJ himself, he's coming from a club like the Broncos to now having a shot at winning a premiership. I don't think, he's going to come across as being angry if he's going to be sitting on the bench. But at the same time, I think a lot of the young front rowers and even the edge players, the forwards will learn off TPJ. Leota's he's a player that I wasn't looking forward to starting in prop, and he's really earned my trust, man. I really like him in front row. And I'm pretty sure Fisher-Harris, Sabs, is only missing for 2 weeks. He'll play this week.
Oh,
then he misses a fortnight.
You're right.
So he plays this week, misses a fortnight, and one of those games is the Melbourne Storm. So I think TBJ coming in for Fisher-Harris next week against a Storm is huge. So, look, it's not 100% confirmed yet, but the NRL a month ago almost confirming it. So until I'm a member, until I get an email off Penrith Panthers, it's not true. So, look, man, as a Penrith supporter, I'm sure you could agree, Timmy, that I'm hoping he comes across, and I think he'll do not so much for Supercoach, but I think he'll be excellent for our claims for the Premiership.
I think he'll do great, man. I just don't know how it sits in me yet. Like, I feels weird. Like, it doesn't feel like he's a part of the team. And I understand there's a mid-season transfers and it happens, in other clubs. And it doesn't really affect me because it's not my club. I don't really care. But it just sort of still feels funny seeing, a guy from another club slot in mid-year. So just a bit of a funny feeling for me as a Penrith supporter, but
good move, yeah.
If it's good for the team, then yeah, great.
Yeah, Ado just saying he doesn't think Leota's a premium front row. I wouldn't say he's a premium front row, but as someone that watches Penrith very closely to see how much he's evolved, and in the end of the day, I'm basing all my opinions of what I think Cleary will do. And Ivan Cleary's going to, he's put a lot of trust into Leota, and I just don't see him benching Leota after claiming that spot with Tamo leaving last year. So, I personally think TPJ won't force himself into a starting spot. Even if an injury happens on the edge back row, Liam Martin will slot in. So, look, I'll be very shocked if he comes in and gets a starting spot. I think he's purely there for depth and to add some punch off the bench.
Yeah, I don't think he can take somebody's spot where they've all deserved this, Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
With
although our form is crazy right now, I still think, look at the results we're still getting. So, sorry, Sabs.
That's all right. With TPJ coming to the club and the June 30 deadline being pushed back, it really does open the opens the spectrum for players, teams in the top 8 to sign gun players in the bottom 8 for the last half of the season. Do you think it's dangerous territory? Could possibly a Penrith sign a Kalen Ponga with 6 weeks to go if Newcastle are out of contention? Do you think it kind of
happen?
Yeah, but the other team has to agree with it. The only reason I guess it's happening is because the Broncos are already getting rid of him next year, and they don't really want him there to begin with, so they're happy for him to go to Penrith.
I think that's the only reason why.
Yeah.
Very
I mean, another one that I'm hearing around is Aaron Woods to potentially Melbourne for the rest of the year.
Ugh.
It's a bizarre one because I don't think they need front
That's
rowers,
weird,
but and not let his
play well. He played well there.
Yeah, well, anyone plays good there.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
But,
it's better than the Manly chat I heard.
What one was that?
He was
Milford.
meant to go to Manly.
Oh, Woodsy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Milford to the Eels. What do we think of that, lads?
Yeah.
That's been shot down, so they've come out saying Eels are no longer interested in Milford, but that could have been an interesting one to add a bit of depth and with Moses out, but yeah.
Penrith said they were no longer interested in TPJ a couple of days ago, so maybe watch the space.
True. Very, very true. That is true. I guess it's like Catewell when Catewell come out saying, no, I haven't signed with the Broncos, and he come out 2 days later saying he did. So I guess, yeah, you can't really trust what you hear from the media, and you just got to wait till the club makes it official.
Speaking about the media and can you trust people from the media, I've got a video here on another transfer whisper. Let's just hear it.
The planet the West Tigers are, as Crawls just pointed out, when it comes to player negotiations and the player market. So a Tigers official a couple of weeks ago picked up the phone, rang the Raiders and said, what would you think if we gave you Luke Brooks and Mitchell Moses, and Moses Mbai, and we'll take Jack Whiten and Josh Hodgson?
What? And what was the response?
Probably about similar to that. I'm tipping. I haven't heard the exact details of it, but yeah, thanks, but no thanks, I would suggest.
Interesting there from the Tigers. Did anyone catch the Tigers, the Tiger Tails on Monday? Timmy, surely.
Oh, that was cool.
Yeah, I didn't think I'd be that into it. And then I saw a few people sort of like, this is awesome, this is great. And then I got onto it and I was so like wanting more. It was nice to sort of feel like you were, in that experience. And as a small little skinny guy, I don't really get that opportunity to be one of the boys in the shed. So I like that.
All right, lads. Do we have any more topics that we want to move on to before we go into Facebook questions?
Let's go into questions.
All right, I posted them very early this time so we could get a few in. Adam Sargent trading out Mr. Reliable Tohu Harris to either Matt Ikevalu or Tyson Frizzell. Which one would you recommend? Looking for an Uber pod for the run home and have 9 trades left.
Oh.
Or do you have a better pod? Let's go with you, Mikey.
Oh, I was hoping you go to someone else. I was trying to find the question. You're going to have to repeat it.
That's all right. Jake, you go.
I don't know about Ikevalu. Roosters sort of have a toughish draw. I'd probably be more inclined for Tupou. He has more of a base. Ikevalu thinks 2%. I don't know. I don't really like the Ikevalu one. Frizzell can be all right with Newcastle's run. There's some attacking upside there. He's going to play 80 minutes. And if he does what he did at the start of the year and be scoring tries, he's going to get you 90, 80 plus. Other players, though, I'm not too sure. If you don't have Cam Murray, I'd be going him.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Sort of in the poddish category as well.
5'16". And he's
Addo's mentioned it. Josh Addo-Carr this week could score 6 tries against the Cows and go massive. So I don't mind that one from Addo. Otherwise, not sure. Yeah, I guess base is not what we're looking for, especially centre wing.
Yeah. Glenn,
you want the attacking upside. So I guess look at the teams that have kind of got an easy-ish run coming up. I mean, not really anyone at Newcastle other than the fullback that you kind of want the backs because they don't really do much.
Glenn really brings up a good point. Is base really what we are looking at now? So I spoke about this with the Whisperer on his podcast on Sunday. Centre wing and second row duels was a thing of the past. In 2018, it was gold. Players like Alex Johnson, who have a high ceiling and can do it in consecutive weeks, are what we think we should be after. The Tupou ones with the decent base are probably not what we want to target at the moment. I think the good thing about Tupou is that he can go large with one try. Like Brian To'o, one try and he's on 90. So I guess that's the benefit in that. So you're not looking at a base point player who scores 1 try in 5 games. You want a base point player who can score a try every game. And Daniel,
I think it's different if in positions too. If you're talking about like I'm getting a guy who has great base, like in a Luke Thompson or something, and that's what you're like. I'm looking for a base. It's a lot different if your centers or wingers have got good base, then they've also got upside because they're in the position to have the upside. So I think that's totally different.
Yeah, I agree. Cameron Robbins got 6 trades left and looking at trading out Tohu and Egan, bringing in Marnie. Was going to bring in AFB with news firming TPJ could be back next week playing for Panthers. Would that be a better target? Already have iPad, Pass, Fafita, Thompson, kick out, Rudolph, and DeBellin. Ooh. Yeah. Let's go, Timmy. TPJ, is he a target?
No, if you've got him, keep him, but... Yeah, you might even look at sell if you've got enough trades. You might even look at selling him if his role doesn't seem to be that prominent for Penrith. But you definitely wouldn't buy him.
Yeah, I actually think his role, obviously less minutes, he's going to go to what he did at the start of the season. There was like a 3-week period where he played 40 minutes and only scored 35 or something. So he's going to go back to that. Whereas at the Broncos, he was always relied on to play 80 minutes. He's not going to be relied on that to play 80 minutes at the Panthers. Michael Carver, what about Jazz, Mikey?
Tavona. Just firstly, is he named at locker or is he at hooker now?
He is hooker.
And how long is Egan out for? Have we got confirmation? I did read the
season.
Pretty sure he's out the season, yeah.
Pretty sure it's a season.
If it's a season, then yeah, I love Jazz. Jazz is a kind of player when given minutes and in hooker, it's amazing. I haven't really looked at team lists over the top this week, especially the Warriors team list. So I don't know if they're harbouring a hooker on the bench, but yeah, I like Tavanga. If he can play anywhere between 60 minutes, they are.
Yeah.
They do have a.
They got the young hooker on the bench, but they could also go Nick Arima in a hooker and Sean O'Sullivan back into the halves like they had last week before they started going down.
Yeah,
Jazz could go into the forwards when the hooker comes on as well. Maybe he just shifts role. I don't know. But maybe you might expect more from 60, 66 minutes or something.
But I think Jazz is hooker. Yeah, I think Jazz playing hooker sort of hurts him because he's only really going to get tackles because he's not much of a creator or a runner.
He'd be better in lock 80 minutes.
Yeah, if you want him locked because he just runs the ball and just offloads it. But he's not going to get that like we've known.
In a Tesla hooker position, if you want to ultra pod and someone that can have a ceiling, yeah. But as I said, I think if you're looking for a hooker this week, go for Reid Marnie at $500K because you know what I mean. It's the lowest price you're going to get in it. I
agree. Reid Marnie, good base and can all the attacking stats and attacking opportunities. Guys, there's something on the screen here. High upside, easy run, home, dog shit base, Sabi. So, obviously, Saab with 9 and 11 the last 2 weeks. Turbo is back this week. Is he a pod play? If you have him.
If you have
him, you'd probably play him, for sure. But
there's 2 games I'd say you probably wouldn't want to play him if you did have him.
With Tommy back in the side?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's go.
The 2 of the matchups are pretty tough, so...
Yeah. Michael Treloar. Is Greg Marzu an option? Great base, Gold Coast, and easier run coming up. Could be a good downgrade to free up cash. Timmy.
That was a complex question. Can you say it again?
Greg Marzu.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Marzu. Yeah, he's great.
Is he a good downgrade? Is he a good downgrade option because he's got good base and an easy run?
Yeah, because I think Sammy's gone for the year. He's just come back from an injury. I think he was due to come back this week anyway. So he's probably right to go. The Titans are, not the greatest defensive side, which can lead to them losing momentum and not having a lot of the ball. But when they do have the ball, they have got great attack, and that guy seems to, bust tackles and have a little bit of an offload even from the wing as well. So. I don't mind him, man. Yeah, he's cheap too, so good option for downgrading.
Very good.
Sorry, can I just say something on on Sammy. He's 3 to 4 weeks, Philip Sammy. But in that time, Marzu will play the Dragons, Bulldogs, Cowboys, and then
Marshall will keep the
nothing
spot
else.
anyway.
Yeah, I reckon he
he's
will.
favoured.
I think he should.
Yeah, he's favoured. I follow the fan zone and the club, and they're all about him. They're pushing him hard. They like the club's push. Like he says, Marju. They don't talk about Sammy at all. So, and that's the club stuff. So, yeah, I think they're all about him. So I think that's something they're looking at a future prospect too.
That's the case, definitely.
Yep.
Just quickly, let me ask the next question about a personal question. Make sure I get this question out.
Yep.
Dean Skipper, this is for you, Jake.
He was next on my list anyway.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure, and I wanted to personally ask it. Jakes, what's your thoughts on Ockenball? On a scale of 1 to 10, how much of a must have is he? And then he said everybody's thoughts on Nathan Brown.
Yeah, so first part, I saw his question. It was a two-part one. For some reason, he knows that I don't rate Ockenball at all. I don't think he's much of a – well, he's a bit of an idiot off the field, and he's not very good on the field either, in my opinion.
He's getting a bit of a rap, though. I've heard a lot of people talking him up.
I like him. I think he's good. I don't know.
I know. He made so many dumb errors on the weekend, doing stupid offloads on the first tackle.
Would you like him as much if he shaved his head?
No, he wouldn't be. He wouldn't be a cold hero if that was the case. But yeah, I mean that aside, Big Dino always seems to like players that I hate just to stir me up. So
I like him. I think he doesn't like it.
But,
So where's your 1 to 10? He asked for a scale.
Well, I don't want to be a Heine and Fletch sort of scale where whatever I say is wrong. So I'll put him. If one's the worst, I'll put him a 3. We'll go with that.
I'd go a 6.
What above average you put him?
Yeah, just above average. I think he makes a big difference compared to the other wingers the Bulldogs are playing.
Yeah, I guess he's got size, but even on the weekend, you could tell he was kind of scared of his knee. He wasn't running the ball back very hard and getting back. But other part of the question, Mikey, because I think it was a 2.
Yeah, everybody's thoughts on Nathan Brown. Why hasn't he been mentioned by anybody? He got 100 last week, even with a tough matchup. He's someone that everybody keeps sleeping on.
He's averaging about 75.
He's a super pod, man. And no one even think about it. We all spoke about second rows before, and we mentioned Madison and Murray, and a lot of people this week that we've got to realise are looking for another second row. And now Tohu Harris is gone, and you're not going to break the bank going Tohu Harris to Nathan Brown. I personally don't hate it, but we'll cross back to you, Jake. What are your thoughts on that? I think it's a good move.
The only thing you kind of don't want is you don't want to have all 3 Parramatta back row. That's kind of the only thing that you
good point
would steer away from him because everyone's got IPAP. A handful of people already have Madison. So I guess if you don't have Madison, Nathan Brown's probably a decent pod to go. If you don't have, I guess you don't want to load up on Para.
I actually don't hate it because I feel like you don't rely on your second rowers to score tries and things like that. And even if you do, Parramatta score their points mainly through the middle third of the field instead of the outer sides. I mean, who knows? They go through Sevo a lot and Gutho, but a lot through IPAP and I guess the attacking stats aren't there to be shared too much with Brown. But I like it. I just looked at his scores, 77, 76, 77 and 100, so pretty good, and only 544,000. So for what he's been producing is pretty good. I've lost the questions. Oh, here we go. Ben Grayson. I always snub him on our podcast, and he always gets cut at me, so I've better ask this question. Gutho to Dwayhe. Gutho probably scores 70 to 120. Dwayhe 50 to 80, but next week they'll be worth around the same. Pocket the cash and go Schuster to Ponga or Teddy. Next week or Pap in 2 weeks?
I think Gutho to Dwayhe sideways.
You reckon?
Guess if you want Dwayhe, then if that's the only way you can do it, then fair enough. I'm grabbing Dwayhe too, but we're just talking about Gutho getting the goals. I like the matchup this week. I don't think this is the week to sell it. But
if you can't get rid of Gutho next week, then I guess
fair enough.
Get rid of him this week, but you probably want to get rid of him next week.
Pocket them to cash. So Schuster to Ponga Teddy next week. Look, he's got a bit of a plan in place, and if that's what you feel to make go, because it makes sense to where your head's at. It's just, if you could somehow hold him to Gutho this week, then maybe that's something I would do.
I actually don't hate it because you're getting in Dwayne, negative break even. He's going to pump out. He's got a good draw, so if you want him, you got to get him this week. Unfortunately, he does play Manly, and he's probably going to get 50 to 80 this week. But he's going to have Dwayne for the run home. Dwayne's going to average more between now and the last game than Gutho is. So, and at least there's a plan to get in the Teddy next week. So, I actually think it's a great plan. Is Dwayne a must-have? Cyril Jenkinson.
No way.
The only must-have, I think, is probably Tommy. I mean, there's other at this point of the season. There's a lot of people doing similar averages in a lot of other different positions. So, I reckon the only one you could specifically say is a must-have is Tommy.
Do you think
I think David Fafita could come close to a must-have because of ownership and how much someone like him will kill
He does
you.
have a crazy upside compared to the others.
There's certain guys that you can't not have that are going to do so much damage because if they pump out a 150 in a week, you don't have him and 40% too, you're fucked from the start. So I think that they're you're right, Timmy. I think they're the two closest to being a must-have.
I think
and Cleary.
A good point, Addo. Cleary. Obviously, a lot of people aren't going to be able to get him in, so I guess later in the season that'll be the difference, especially if he goes off. I feel like no one's a must-have. Obviously Tommy, but unless you're going to use them as a regular captain option, because that will set you apart from the rest of the competition. Dwayne is someone you're probably not going to look at captaining too many weeks. I guess on the weekend I only captained Dewey because there weren't that many juicy matchups and most of the Origin players were out. I don't think I'll look at captaining Dewey again. But that being said, who knows? But this week...
I disagree with you there, Sabs. I think one thing that also I like about getting Dwayne is I think he's someone that you can choose to be a pod captain, especially in a head-to-head. You want to get to head. Like, I said ahead a lot of times there. But, with some of those weaker matchups, like, you know what I mean, against the Cowboys, Dogs twice, Warriors, I think he could be a sneaky captain play if Tom's got a hard matchup, which there is a few games that Manly have a tougher matchup. So I think he could become a great pod C to the guys that have him.
Yep. Another question. Have we got any questions up, lads?
I think there's quite a few that you missed, but I guess we can kind of do two more.
I've got a good one. Tim, if I offered $20,000 right now for Tim's login, would he cash out?
I said it the other day. I wouldn't do it for 51. I actually need the money, so I'd probably look back and regret it. It's not so much about that I think that I'm that reassured and confident that I can get it done. It's just I play Supercoach for the fun and the experience, and I'd like to finish my own job, you know. So yeah, I wouldn't sell it for anything.
Well said.
I did think about it though.
That is well said. Des actually sold shares in his team when he was getting to the pointy end. So I'm pretty sure he hedged with Jimmy. Was it Jimmy Wilson? He hedged with Wilson, and I'm pretty sure he took like a payment for like a share of the prize or something. So you could be selling shares to your team, Tim.
Nah, I'm not going to be selling shares. It's just weird. Just weird.
Addo here. Such a bold C move. Great move. Thanks, Addo. Go over to listen to his podcast, Super Coach by Adrianasaurus. I'm pretty sure Mikey is going to come up on his show very shortly.
Hopefully in the near future we can get that on. But yeah, I've been looking forward to doing a podcast with Ado. It's a bit hectic when we've had him on here with 5 of us. So yeah, it'd be good to get on a one-on-one with him. So I guess a lot of us are Sabs. You were on the Whisperers podcast in the week. So I guess a lot of us are, we're being
trader.
Yep, and
not being a trader, we're just sleeping around with the other podcasts. Never host. So,
no, well, Tim, you were on the All Stars podcast last night, Timmy. How was that?
That was a good experience. Yeah, it was just a one-on-one conversation. It wasn't as sort of, but that's how I like it over here. I like that we're a bit loose, a bit crazy, and have sound issues and stuff. It's great.
Yeah. We've been way better than last week. Last week was a train wreck, but look at this video. The sound's actually in sync with our mouths. It's great.
Yeah, it's really good. And shout out to the Whisperer. He helped me test all these programs last week. So talking about our podcast sluts, that actually helped us out. So cheers to the Whisperer. And
Really networking over here, so I love it. I think all the podcasters, I think it's a really good thing about Supercoach. So it's
Yep.
not a competition; it's a networking system.
yep.
Well,
And
Turbo Hammies Cup is a competition that one of us
Yeah.
will win. Isn't that right, boys?
yeah.
Tim and Mikey.
All right. Let's have one more question and then we'll go to captain options. Andrew Cunningham was holding Val and now have AJ and Savage injured. Who would you go first, Val or AJ? And who to? Have 5 trades left: Toa, Garrick, Tupou, and Turbo and Hines at fullback.
Well, with the 5 trades up his sleeve, he's got a bit of moving room. But I guess if he doesn't have any money in the bank, then AJ could be a good sell. It just depends if he looks at AJ's draw and go, okay, yeah, I think I want to have him for the rest of the year. I personally decided to sell AJ because he comes back, plays Panthers, Eels, and he's got another tough matchup in there where, he might not score crazy good. So, I think that just goes personally of what you feel. But Val could be someone, good towards the end of the season in a Cowboys team that have been struggling a bit. He does have goals. But, yeah, out of that, I think I'd be going AJ. But I think, he definitely has to sell one. That's 3 guys injured. Savage gone for the season, and those other 2 are out for a little bit too. So hamstring injury as well, keen to point out. That could trouble AJ a bit when he comes back too, especially with the amount of crazy stuff he has to do to put the
Who
ball
let the
down.
dogs out?
What was that, sorry?
Oh, yeah.
Someone let the dogs out.
Yeah, that's in my background, I'm pretty sure. I got 6 dogs out the back here, so it's nice and crazy. AJ out there, so 8-0, yep. Yeah, agreed.
All right.
Savs on the
Bird?
Yeah,
predictions.
let's go to our captain options and our bold predictions. All right, Timmy. We're starting with you and your captain options. What are your captain options? No, we don't want to hear your captain options, actually. What are your bold predictions?
My bold predictions will be that Fergo will score a try on his return. It's not points related, but he's going to do a backflip. He's going to, get the 5K through one of those betting companies. I can't remember which one it is. I only bet with Top Sports. So, what'd you say?
Oh, yeah.
So other than that, I'm going to back my boy, Big Kickout. He's going to score a double again, and he's going to get 100 this time. He's just going to chip over a little bit more and get that full ton. And I'm going to go as a third one. Ooh, let's have Pappenhausen doesn't play this weekend.
Oh, no.
Ooh, actually,
Gets pulled out late.
Do you want to write them down? Do you want to say them again? Because I actually missed them.
Okay,
What
so
were you doing?
It was kick out 2 tries.
kick out 2 tries, 100 plus.
Yep.
Fergo to score a try.
And a backflip.
Yep.
And what was my third one?
Pappenhausen won't play this week.
Pappenhausen won't play. Yep, he'll get pulled out.
All right, Mikey, let's go with you. Captain options and bold predictions.
I'll start with the bold predictions while you're writing them down. I'm 8-0. I'm going to kind of disagree with one of the ones he's got up there. Dewey, I know I'm bringing him in, so I'm going to come in confidence. He's going to get, I think 70 plus. I think everyone's like, versus Manly, 50, 80. I think the Tigers are going to still score some points against Manly, and I think he will have his hands in him. So 70 plus for Dewey. Nico Hines will go 120 plus. He'll back up another big score, I think, against the Cowboys. And then I'm going to combine that with Jerome Luai. If Jerome Luai gets ruled out last minute, I will chuck in a bold prediction on Saturday. But I think Jerome Luai, we're going to back him to come back from the dark, and he's going to have an 80-plus performance. So, yeah, that's my bold predictions. Captain choices, very vanilla this week. I'll go similar. I'm going to keep the VC on Hines. I think the important thing, I know last week, Sabs, you had the VC on someone you couldn't loop. Just to people out there, I think it's very important. Don't waste your VC option. Last week, looping did help my overall score. I think definitely always put the VC on someone that you can loop, and that's maybe simple advice, but it's advice that I think definitely needs to be taken in. So Nico Hines is going to be my VC. I'm very much considering a straight C on Nico Hines. I'm not going to lie. I think the main thing too is the percentage again. So Nico Hines, yet again, even after that stellar performance, he's only at 5%. So I'm captaining Tom. I think it's hard not to captain Tom when fully fit because, as you say, don't get cute with the captain options. I think I will fall behind. But yeah, 26% for Tom. So yeah, if we think Storm are going to put a cricket score against the Cowboys, maybe, go on the 5% option in Nico Hines, kick the goals, super move to Tim last week, straight captain him, and same with Dr. Kane, though. I wish I joined him on that boat, but I didn't. So, I think they're the two biggest options for this week. So my captain band will be on one of those two boys for sure. If I captain Hines, I'll VC Meadow.
Awesome. Jake, can we just say that Tom Trbojevic, captain option, you don't want to be cute with it. He scored 7 tons in 9 appearances. All the tons have been over 115 points, and 4 of them have been over 140. So I feel like he's a very safe option. And, Jake.
118 in 60 minutes against the Tigers too, just to point out, Sabs. That's a good point.
Yep, and 119 in 70 minutes against the Broncos. So obviously, obviously 140 is very possible for most games.
Yeah, I'm doing the same with captaincies as Mikey. Well, Mikey's initial plan: VC Hines, Captain Turbo. Then if Hines goes big, I'll probably bank 140, 130 plus. Bank it. Ball predictions. I'm going to go Damien Cook to score a ton. Glenn, mate, how bad has he been for us?
I got him for the right price, but he's been awful.
Yeah. I saw Glenn Fisher said it as well. I'm going to go Garrick. Well, he's gone double. I'm going to go Garrick hat-trick.
Garrick trick?
And I'm going to Garrick to score a hat-trick. Ruben Garrick. And last one, I'm going to say the Fox 120 plus.
Very bold. And obviously just captaining Tommy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Of course.
Glenn Fisher here. Just want to say, Sav, the pods are approved 100%. Well done, mate.
Oh, it's 1,000%, I reckon.
1,000% this live stream at least from last week.
Can I add?
Yeah, of course.
Can I add one? Jack Williams is going to match Hamunueli's tried celebration with some sort of wrestling move. Apparently they've got something going, so I think he can score against the Dogs.
That's a pretty good one. That's a nice prediction. I like that.
Yeah. He's starting as well, Jack Williams.
All right.
Yep.
I'm going to go. My boy Tommy.
You haven't done yours yet? Oh, yeah, you're doing now.
I thought you were just leaving. Like
I thought you
said,
were
I'm going to go. Yeah, me too. Like, I'm going to go now.
Yeah, no.
It's been good.
My boy Tommy is going to go 170 plus.
Always got to have a Tom Hail Mary.
130 plus to Garrick. I'm going to go Nofaluma in the same game. We haven't actually spoken about him, but we were high on him last week. Was it Tim? We were all on the pod last week, but Tim, no, it was Mikey, I'm pretty sure. But Nofaluma was someone we were really keen on to get everyone buying. I even said to Jake, buy Nofaluma instead of Tane Milne. What did you do?
Hang on. I got Tane Milne 4 weeks ago.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, no, that wasn't discussed last week. He's making up stuff because I wasn't on the Nofaluma train either.
We did have this chat, Brando. Yeah, Norfo's a good option now. They've got a good run, so it was just he had a tough run before.
If you've got trades, I think he's a good pickup this week, even against Manly.
I don't think you're picking him as a premium, but you're picking him as a downgrade backup.
As a fifth.
A fifth centre wing
option. And especially with Dewey feeding him the ball. I know he's a bit of a hog, but at least he's got that cutout ball, whereas Moses Mbide doesn't really have it. You agree?
Yeah. Well, he threw a beautiful cutout pass to Norfolk to score one of his tries.
I really liked that. I really enjoyed that. And 130 plus to Garrick, so I'll go Nofo to go 70 plus in a losing side. And then I'm going to go... who else do I want to...
Is that from a Dewey intercept? Like he intercepts a Dewey pass?
Who? Garrick?
Oh, Norfolk can't intercept a Dewey pass. On the same team.
He can catch one, though.
Pretty much catching the pass. And I'm going to go...
Just grab the ball and run the other way.
I'm going to go Ben Hunt.
Does a Sam Walker.
Ben Hunt 120 plus.
Oh, sounds...
Yeah, you're not.
I still don't know why he brought him in.
Yeah, neither do I. But I've got to try and be positive, you know?
It's all right. He's getting 120 this week.
Yeah.
No chance.
All right. That's the end of the podcast. Success as always, guys. And we're sure to be joined next week. And make sure you go listen to Tim's podcast with the All-Stars. Make sure you go listen Adrianosaurus Rex's podcast with Mikey coming out next week.
Not sure if it's next week, but it'll be soon. There'll be lots of us doing cross stuff, so we'll post it on the page to give it a listen. But yeah, good luck, Timmy, and good luck to everyone else. We're coming into head-to-head finals, so I'm sure everyone, strategies are going to be big here. So
Up the Timmy. Up the Timmy.
You can hold it, mate.
Up the Timmy. Hopefully Timmy has another big weekend and you can hold that spot, Tim. Didn't give a lot away today, and that's exactly the way we wanted it. We want you to be number one and no one else. So cheers, guys, and thank you for listening.
I'd like some food. Some